Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the tech and infotainment breakdown on the 2025 Acura MDX and its two 12.3-inch screens. In this video we're going to show you how to pair up a phone, we're going to show you how to use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, we're going to go over how to customize the infotainment system, utilize voice commands, customize the gauge cluster, as well as the head-up display. Now, first things first, if you do want to see any more on the new MDX, check the link below. We've got a dedicated review of both the 19-speaker and 31-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound systems. We've got a full review of the car and a little bit of a highway fuel economy test. Also, if you recently purchased an MDX or you're driving one for an extended period of time, I highly recommend you take some time stopped in your driveway or some safe area and play around with the system. Get comfortable with everything, customize your screens how you want to use them. You're going to enjoy using your car that much more. So, starting off in front of us, we've got this 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster screen. Now, yours might not look exactly like this, and I'm going to show you how to customize it here in a little bit. But before we even get to that point, I want to take a look at the buttons around the vehicle. So first off, we have some excellent physical controls on the steering wheel here. Those of you who might be coming out of something like a Mercedes-Benz are really going to appreciate getting back into a vehicle with real physical touch button controls. Over on the left, you have the heated steering wheel button, an on and off button for your media, volume up and down, track back and forth. This is going to be used up and down to cycle through screens on the head-up display, as well as go back on the head-up display, so we'll get to that here in a moment. A voice command button. Over on the right, you've got mostly cruise control, so turn on and off your cruise control, set and resume and change speed, active lane centering, following distance, canceling the cruise control, and then this knob right here customizes the touch or the front screen in front of us, so we'll see that in a moment. Way over on the left, you have an up and down button for both the head-up display tilt, how high up and down it is, and then a rocker for the head-up display brightness. I like having that. Also got a button for turning on and off your active safety support, your traction control, and your parking beepers. And then way over on the right, you have a physical control for adjusting the brightness of the screens. I appreciate we have physical control for that. Okay, so we've got this head-up display. Hopefully you can see it well enough in front of us. It's coming up well on the camera. Right now, it's showing me the speed in digital readout, as well as the speed limit and a compass. That's customizable by scrolling with this button. If you first start scrolling, it's going to allow you to choose a media input. So phone, FM, AM, USB, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Amazon Alexa. And then all the way at the bottom, you can customize the head-up display. Click that. And then you can choose menu content. So say, for example, you're never going to use AM radio. You can click that, and then it'll no longer pop up on that main screen back there, saving you some scrolling. Then you can go back and you can customize the display content. Right now, we have it selected to show you speed and traffic sign plus navigation information. You can also have it show you driver's assistance, show you how far your following distance is for the adaptive cruise control, and if your lane keeping is on or off. Coming all the way back and then moving down to the screen in front of us, we have quite a bit of information. I'm going to go through the info with you here now, then we're going to show you how to customize a little bit of it. Right in the top center, you've got a digital speed readout. Over on the left, you have your speed limit. We have an analog tachometer on the left and an analog speedometer on the right. Within the analog speedometer on the left, we have the current media that's playing. A little bit below that, we have our coolant temp and our gear selection, outside temperature, and odometer. Over on the left, within the gauge cluster, we see the media that's being played. We have a tiny clock, a gear selection, coolant temp, outside temperature, and odometer. In the center, you have the drive mode that's selected, some active safety enabled information, and then on the right, you have a customizable screen, which we'll go through here in a moment. Below that, you have a fuel gauge and a distance to empty. To customize what information is showing up on this little screen, you use this roller knob, which again, these click really nice and feel really good. We've got trip A and trip B, which we can get to by going back and forth, right and left here. You can hold that to reset. Scrolling down gives us a map. That's kind of cool. Then you have maintenance, tire pressure, super handling all-wheel drive screen, if that's on your car, a G meter, driver attention level, seat belts for all 7 seats, safety support information, looks like a blank screen there, and then settings. We can push this and change the speed and distance units from miles and miles per hour to kilometers and kilometers per hour. Press left to go back, and then under gauge layout, you can choose this crafted look or choose advanced, which gives you some more subtle gauges on the right and left of the screen. I prefer the look of the crafted display. Then lastly, under audio and clock, you can turn that on or off. If you have it off, then it's a little bit of a simpler gauge cluster over on the left. It's not the most dynamic screen on the market, but I appreciate its functionality and its ease of use. Now, making our way over to the center, before we get into the infotainment screen, I want to point a few things out. First off, look at all of these beautiful physical controls in the MDX. So many cars now are limiting your climate controls and your shifters and your volume, track controls and everything into the touchscreen. But here you still have an entire physical layout for all of your climate controls, your heated and cooled seats, your volume, track selection, gear selection, drive mode, all of it is done right here. Now, those of you who have a previous generation Acura product are going to be used to the trackpad that used to be in the center here of the MDX. For 2025, they've scooted the screen forward and made it an entire touchscreen Android Automotive-based system. No longer have a trackpad. A lot of people really appreciate that. However, there is a part of me that misses the trackpad. Once you got accustomed to how it worked, and it did have a little bit of a learning curve, but you could really navigate your screen quickly without having to take much time away from your eyes or your hands paying attention to the road. Now, you do have to reach further up. At least you have a little bit of a lip to rest your fingers on in order to click things on the screen, but I will say that some people are going to miss the knob. This app list is essentially your home screen for this system. There's not exactly a main home screen as you might be used to in something like a Genesis or a BMW, but we're not going to go into these individual app tiles because these are all customizable, so some of you might not have them. For example, I could click right here, and then I could move phone way over to the second screen because I don't need the phone icon very often. I use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and then I could replace this with, say, ambient lighting. If I were you, I would customize this main screen to have your 8 most frequently used icons. Like, I'm never going to use Amazon Alexa, so I would get that out of there as well. And then you can also drag things over and customize what shows up on this left side. So these top 3 are going to always be there, your home, back, and Google Assistant. But your Google Maps, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto can all be switched around. So again, if you don't have an Android phone in your household, you might just want to take Android Auto out of there, put something else there instead, maybe FM radio. Over on the right, you have this split screen setup, which is going to show you an information screen of your choosing. And then up on the top, you have a clock and a profile. So you can actually set up a profile, customize it for different drivers in the household. You can customize to save your media presets, climate presets, I think seating presets as well, although in the Acura, those might be relegated over to these buttons on the left. Let's scroll all the way over to our all apps list and go through the apps that are important. Starting up at the top, this is sorted alphabetically right now. Acura Link, that's going to be how you pair up with your Acura account and get vehicle diagnostics information, pair up with the app. Amazon Alexa, you can pair this up with Alexa and then do things like start your vehicle from home using your Amazon speakers or ask Alexa things here in the car. Ambient lighting, let's go in there. You can see all these fun different ambient light settings. You got Blue Ridge or Ile Notre Dame or Atlantic Road, Wall Street. A bunch of fun different color names they've chosen for all those. Coming back, we'll show you Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in a little bit. Bluetooth audio, if you have a device paired for Bluetooth, that's how you're going to get right to your Bluetooth audio. Cabin talk, this is actually kind of nice. If you turn it on, you're not really going to quite hear it now, but it's actually amplifying my voice from here into the back seats through the speakers a little bit. So this is going to make it a little easier for you to talk to your children, or maybe if you've got older people in the back of your car, parents or grandparents or something, you're driving them around, then it's going to make it a little easier for them to hear you without you having to turn your head and yell. Under clock, pretty straightforward. You can bring up a nice clock display like this and also use menu to change the date and time. Continuing down, you can bring up a nice big full screen compass if you'd like. Display mode, you can adjust the brightness of the display or turn it all the way off if you're driving on a nice dark road and you don't want the screen blaring in your eyes. FM radio, we'll get to settings here in a little bit. Google Assistant, if you press that, it's going to bring up the voice assistant there and allow you to do voice assistant things. We'll show you that more later. Here we get to Maps, and this is one of the best things about this Android Automotive-based system that they use in the MDX is that this is full-on Google Maps. If you are logged into this vehicle using your Google account, it will actually bring up things like your home address or previously searched addresses from your computer or your smartphone, tablet, etc. And it responds just like Apple or Google Maps would on a device as well. So pinch and zoom, move around, recenter. We'll show you more when we get to voice commands, but it works very seamlessly, You can already see that traffic's backing up here on the 405, showing us that live traffic information. Definitely one of the best mapping applications in a vehicle. Continuing down, we see multi-view camera. This MDX has a 360-degree camera, which you see on the right, and this is showing us in front of us. And we can see side views. I guess to see the rear view, you're supposed to just put it into reverse. Continuing down, we have a news app, and I should also take this moment to point out that over here, where it says show on home, you can select or deselect that to either clutter or declutter your app screen that we saw back on our home menu. Under phone, this will show you different presets that you can have, all of your phone contacts, and do we have text messages on there as well? Not from this screen. I think that's actually on another screen called SMS. Play Store, that's how you're going to install different applications on here. Like I said, this is Android Automotive-based, so you can install apps such as SiriusXM Radio, Tidal, Waze, different apps that have been optimized for Android Automotive, you're going to find there in the Play Store. Under Profile Settings, this is going to be how you add or change profiles for the vehicle. SMS, right here, if you're connected via Bluetooth, you're going to be able to see your text messages. System updates, if you're connected via Wi-Fi, then you're going to be able to check for system updates here on the car. Trip Computer, this is showing us your average fuel economy for the current drive, Trip A or Trip B. Under USB, you can plug a USB drive here into the center console and access music from there, although I haven't been able to get my USB drives to work despite them being formatted properly. And lastly, Wi-Fi hotspot. If you pay monthly, you can enable a Wi-Fi hotspot here in the car to provide an internet connection for things like a work device, children's tablet, something like that. It is going to cost you monthly, but it's an option that you have. Okay, let's dive into settings now. So we'll start up here under General Settings, and I'm not going to go through every little nitty-gritty detail, but we'll go through and see if there's things that you might want to know. Under System, you see another ability to change date and time, change between languages, English, Spanish, and French for both the center display and instrument cluster. I think it's kind of funny when you can choose different languages for different parts of the car. Touch panel sensitivity. You can either choose between low or high, whatever is going to work better for you. And factory data reset. If you go and sell your MDX in the future, then you're going to want to use that to clear out all of your personal information. Under connections, we're going to use this later for pairing up our Bluetooth devices, but then you can also connect to your home Wi-Fi and set up this Wi-Fi hotspot here within the vehicle that we talked about earlier. Under privacy, you can enable or disable sharing data with Acura. You can also turn on or off the microphone, location permissions, app permissions. Because this is an Android-based system, there's a lot of enabling and disabling of privacy features. Under display, another place you can change the display brightness as well as the contrast and black level and turn the display off. Under sound, this is going to be how you adjust the sound settings for the Bang & Olufsen sound system, as well as turn up or down your speed and volume compensation. So as you get going faster, it's going to get the music louder, make up for wind, engine, and road noise. Under sound volume, this is going to be where you adjust the volume for system sounds, ringtones, navigation, voice, etc. You can see right now system sounds is on 0, so I'm not getting any tap noise. But if I turn this to 3, then every time I click the screen, we get different noises and sounds. I like having that off. Coming back and swiping over, we get to camera settings, multi-view camera. You can turn guidelines on or off, and you can also customize it to show after shifting from reverse. Do you want it to still keep the camera up for a little while? Coming back and going to voice control settings, you can change your default assistant to be either the Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, or none, I suppose, for some reason. And if you have an iPhone paired up, you can listen for Hey Siri so that you can just say that out loud instead of having to press a button. Under security, you can lock your profile behind a passcode if you'd like. And then under advanced settings, we have more of the actual Android-based settings things. So you can get system updates, see what version of Android this is running, and choose some of those more nitty-gritty details there. I wonder, can we bring up developer settings? I bet we can if we go down here to About, and then build number. Yep, we could bring up developer settings. Oh, there's actually a password though. Now coming back and going all the way down to vehicle settings, let's bring those up. First off, we have driver assist system setup. We can click that. And then it goes you through all the different driver assistants and lets you assistant systems and lets you customize them. For example, do you want adaptive forward collision detection beep? So as a car pulls in front of you, do you want it to beep at you? I personally don't. Lane keeping assist suspend beep. So if you turn the lane keeping system off or it disables, do you want it to beep at you? Blind spot information. This might be kind of nice if you're somebody who changes lanes close in front of people. You might not want to have the audible alert when you're about to merge into somebody. You might want just the flashing next to you. So I recommend you go through and customize those system settings to your liking. Driver position setup. Memory position link. So do you want the memory position to be remembered based on your key? And also, do you want the seat to move backward when you shut the vehicle off and forward when you get back in? Under lighting setup, do you want your high beams to be automatic? How long would you like the lights to stay on after you get out of the vehicle? Power tailgate setup. Would you like to be able to walk up and kick underneath and turn that on or off? Maintenance information, showing us how long until we need to change the oil. Meter setup. Oh, okay, you can adjust a few things right here from the meter. Outside temperature display adjustment. Okay, so if you're finding that it's a little low or a little high, you can manually adjust that there. Rear seat reminder, so if you want to be reminded if you might have left something in the back of the car, maybe a child or a pet. Under door setup, you can have the doors automatically lock and unlock in certain situations, including a walk-away auto lock. A lot of people like that. And under individual settings, you can customize the individual drive mode to your liking that you access by clicking in on that Acura button. Okay, let's show you how to use the voice commands. You can either enable it using OK Google. What's the temperature tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Irvine, expect a high of 74 and a low of 63.
Or you can utilize the steering wheel here. When's the next Lions game?
The Lions will play the Cardinals on Sunday at 1:25 p.m.
Look how quickly that responds. Isn't that nice? And because this is a full-fledged Google Assistant, if you had your Google account information logged into the car here, you could ask it to do things like send a text message to somebody or draft an email or do I have anything left on my calendar today, for example. And of course you can do silly things like tell me a joke.
Did you hear about the snowman that got upset when the sun came out? He had a total meltdown.
That's pretty funny. This is actually one of the quickest responding systems I've ever been in either. I mean, there's no delay there. Let's try some navigation. Navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
Okay, Starbucks. Here we go.
Look how fast that is. That is... I've never been in a car that does it that quickly, and even other Android Automotive-based systems. Let's try stringing something together a little bit more complex. Let's see if it'll do this. Navigate to the Golden Gate Bridge and stop at Starbucks on the way.
I can't find the Golden Gate Bridge and stop at Starbucks on the way.
Okay.
What address did you want to navigate to?
Never mind.
Okay, I won't add a destination right now.
I am curious, though, how long it would take to do a really far destination. Navigate to New York City and avoid tolls.
Sure, New York.
All right, that was real time right there. Although I don't think it got the command to avoid. It says couldn't avoid tolls. Oh, all right. So apparently you can't get to New York without tolls. So I'm glad it actually popped up and told me that there briefly. Hey, Google. Cancel navigation. So mind you, this is all...
Stopping navigation.
Thanks. This is all running on the car as well. This is not coming off my phone. So that's by and far my favorite voice command system right there, and getting out of something like the Lexus or a Genesis and then getting into this, leaps and bounds. So let's show you how to use Android Auto. I've already got it paired up wirelessly, but if you don't want to use the wireless version of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, I highly recommend picking up yourself a MagTame cable. I've got a link below to get you a discount and also give us a little bit of promotion, but this right here is my USB-C to USB-C cable, and you can see how neatly it's formed. I throw it right in my bag, then I pull it out, I hook it in, I use it, because a lot of times my device just gets so hot while doing phone projection and wireless charging that I don't want to use the wireless charger. It gets too hot, but I don't want to suck down my battery either, so actually just plug it in with this. Pick yourself up some, get yourself one as a gift, or somebody else as a gift. It's a great gift getting thing, and help us out using the link below. So here's Android Auto, how it's going to look right there. It's clear away our text message from Nathan. Go home, and because this is such a wide format screen, we've got our apps list, our recently used apps down here below, as well as our time and our button for voice assistant, and then we've got the split screen setup with maps and media. We can bring up full screen Google Maps here, move around, pinch and zoom. Not as great of a resolution as the home native built-in navigation, but still pretty good. And let's bring up, let's go to YouTube Music. Hit the super mix. Some Epica. You can come home and then you can see music playing on the right, maps there, and you still have these quick toggles on the left side of the screen, so it's easy to get home or right back, say for example, to your navigation. Also, this system just responds so quickly as well. They did an excellent job with this. I accidentally left my iPhone at home, so we're going to cut to some footage in our driveway showing you Apple CarPlay now. We have retrieved our trusty iPhone SE, so we're going to head to Settings and go to Bluetooth. And then in the car, we're going to go to General Settings, Connections, Manage Device Connections, Connect New Device, Search for Devices, and right there I see Charlie's iPhone. We're going to click that. Continue connecting. It's going to end our Android Auto session. We got a pairing request. We're going to hit Pair, Allow, Connect to CarPlay on the phone, Enable CarPlay on the car, and there we have it. Apple CarPlay coming up. We've got the new iOS 18, so looking a little different, but we've got our app screen here. Looks like we're getting the 5x2 setup. Swipe to the left to our main screen. We see Google Maps on the left and our media on the right. Let's go to full screen Google Maps. You can see we're still getting the quick toggles on the left for the Acura system. Move around. No pinch to zoom still, even on iOS 18. A little disappointing to see that. Let's head to YouTube Music, hit our super mix, see what we're getting out of the iPhone. Ooh, some Outcast. That's a new one. That's fun. Work the subwoofer a little bit here in the MDX. There you can see when we come back home, you got music playing on the right and maps on the left. And we can get back to the Acura home screen very easily right there. Also, one last thing I'm seeing is a little maximize icon. Let's hit that. Oh, that's actually a minimize. So now we've got the Acura quick toggles on the left, the split screen setup on the right, so you could have your nav, some like compass navigation information, media information, and the Apple CarPlay tucked in the middle with a little bit of a smaller setup. That is interesting. Okay. So there it is, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of the goodness here with the new touchscreen system in the 25 Acura MDX. As I said, I do miss some elements of the trackpad. However, this is such a smooth and powerful and capable system that I'm okay with it. I'm pretty darn happy. This is one of my favorite tech environments on the new car market here today. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do have more questions, ask them below. I'll try to get to you retroactively. Check out our other content here on the MDX, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.